This is Conversations with Paycheck and Red, a weekly podcast with two good old boys talking about anything and everything that crosses their mind. You may not know what you're going to get with an episode of Paycheck and Red, but you sure know you don't want to miss it. So do what you got to do. Download the app, find the episodes online, and make sure that you don't miss 1 second of Conversations with Paycheck and Red.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. This is Johnny Paycheck, and as always, I'm with my boy Red. What's up, brother?
What's going on, party people?
What's fresh back from vacation, huh?
Yeah, well, I say fresh. I guess you could say fresh. Been back for a couple of days now.
Yeah, that must suck.
Yeah, it does a little bit. I wish
Yeah,
I was still. I wish I was still on the beach with my toes in the sand.
You had your toes in the sand at the beach?
I did. Yeah.
In South Carolina?
Yeah.
With that bacteria shit going on?
It ain't in the sand, motherfucker. It's in the ocean.
Oh. So you was at the beach with your toes in the sand, just looking at the damn water?
Yeah, I'd go out. I'd go out there and get hot as hell, and then I'd come back to the pool and chill and drink a couple beers, and go back out there and put my toes in the sand and get hot as hell and come back and repeat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard that. Just as an update for those of you who are podcast, Ed and I did meet up for a miniature vacation at Wild Adventures in Valdosta. So that was a good time. It was good seeing you. Good seeing the family.
Oh yeah, always good to see the Stricklands.
Now we're not privileged enough to take like weeks off or anything. You know what I mean? We ain't got that kind of money just laying around like Red and his family does. But we enjoyed those 3 days?
3 days. I think it was 3 days. Look here, I saved long and hard for that vacation, buddy. I don't have money like that laying around neither. I saved long and hard for that. So.
Okay, we get it. Long and hard. You've said that twice. Is there something? I mean, you trying to tell me something?
Yeah, you take it however you want to, buddy.
Whoa, take it. Whoa, hey, long and hard and take it?
Yeah.
What happened to you on the vacation?
Oh, well, laying on the beach with your toes in the sand with a Speedo on kind of does things to a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard that. Your vagina didn't fall out none, did it?
A couple times it did. I had to keep moving it over a little bit to keep it covered up.
Well, why don't you tell the listeners about what this topic is about?
Oh man, this one is kind of interesting. We've all seen the movies, the Back to the Futures and the Doctor Who's and all that shit. So we're gonna do a little bit of time traveling. And a little bit of...
We're going to be time traveling?
We might go back in time. Yeah, we might take a little trip down memory lane before it's over with.
Well, I got a pack and shit at least, bro. I can't just be bouncing all over to, from, what, 70s, 60s, 50s, all the way to 2050s, 60s, you know what I mean? I mean, what do I bring?
You got to just put on clean underwear, man. It don't matter what you're wearing. It don't matter. We won't be gone long.
I don't wear underwear, man. It's just so I guess
So what are you gonna do if you get in a car wreck and they gotta cut your clothes off? Then you're gonna just be free balling there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be twigs and berries everywhere.
Your mama never told you before you go out to put on clean underwear?
Yeah, but I'm a rebel, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. What happened was I think one day I didn't have clean underwear, so I just went without, and I liked it. Made me feel sexy on the inside.
Right, I hear you. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I've been commando ever since.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, well, this one's gonna be. I'm sorry. You want me to give you a minute? You good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Hey, will you grab me one of those beers out of the refrigerator? I was gonna do
Talking
this.
to
Huh?
who are you talking to?
The wifey.
Oh,
That's D-A wifey. The wifey.
duh,
That's what I call it.
wifey. Okay.
Yeah. So this episode is going to be a little different. We're going to switch it up a little bit. I'm proud of you, man. I mean, this is going to be exciting. So Red has actually, I guess he finds this topic so interesting that he's taken. So everybody, round of applause for Red for taking notes. Yeah.
Thank you. You can see me, but I'm taking a bow.
Yeah. So let's get this shit started, man. Let's start this thing off.
Oh, hold on just a second. There we go. Now we can get started.
You drinking on?
I'm drinking on the real champagne of beers, my friend. I'm drinking PBR.
16 ounce.
Blue ribbon beer. Yeah, 16 ounce actually. Good call.
Yeah. Me too.
Right
Matter
on.
of fact,
I think, did I buy those? Did I buy those?
You did. I'm drinking one of Red's PBRs right now.
Wow. I'll be damned. Well,
Yeah.
cheers to you, friend. I bought you a beer. No one's ever said it.
Hell
Yeah. So, time traveling. Like I said before, we've all seen the movies. Back to the Future, Doctor Who, Quantum Leap even. You remember Quantum Leap? The guy used to jump back into time into other people's bodies and shit.
Hey, can I interject just real quick, just to preface all this real quick?
Yeah, sure.
All right, and not to ruin your vibes or anything, but I think
No,
this is
go
important.
ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right. So listeners, so in order to, we would appreciate if you would just take a minute and just open up your mind and be a free thinker for a minute. I want you to travel with us, on this episode. Just open up your mind, and we're not claiming that any of these are facts or anything. Like I mean, some of it is, but we know this topic is kind of crazy to some people. You know what I mean? So just lay back, and just open your mind a little bit and just hear us out, and and just roll with us on this one. Right?
Because we're getting ready to feed you a line of bullshit.
Yeah.
Open your hearts and your minds.
Or is it?
Time traveling. The concept of movement between 2 points in time. Between two different points in space by an object or a person. And most of the time when you time travel, you use that hypothetical device or the realistic device, whichever way you want to go, known as a time machine. So we've all seen the time machines, the DeLorean, the phone booths. My favorite was the Bill and Ted phone booth. That's probably my favorite time machine of all the time machines.
My favorite one was on The Big Bang Theory.
You know what? I don't know if I'm proud to say or I'm ashamed to say that I've never actually seen one episode of Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? Different strokes, different folks. I enjoy it.
Right.
But
right.
the reason they found it online, they didn't know how big it was. They didn't check out the dimensions of it or whatever. But turns out the damn thing was so big it took up, a pretty big portion of their living room. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, depending on which time travel you're doing.
However you're time traveling these days, whether you're in a 1980 DeLorean or whether you're in a phone booth.
Yeah.
You're still going back in time, no matter what you're getting on or getting in, rather. The time machine was introduced to the world. H.G. Wells, remember that War of the Worlds guy?
Yeah.
He had a book that he wrote back in 1895 called The Time Machine.
Now, just for our listeners, we're talking about the same guy who did the live radio broadcast saying that there was an alien invasion.
The War of the Worlds, yeah, War of the Worlds, yeah, same
Okay.
dude. Yeah. And the War of the Worlds actually freaked a lot of people out, and they thought it was real. That was pretty wild. But the time machine, going back in time, that's a physical thing where the body or an object moves between 2 points in space and time, and it's a physical thing. So whenever you go into your time machine, you are putting the predetermined time and date, and it whisks you away in the what would you call it, a black hole or time-space continuum or flux capacitors and all that kind of shit. Now, according to Einstein, time travel is entirely possible.
Do you believe in time travel?
Do I believe in time travel? Yeah and no. It's a toss up for me. I mean, I believe that it's possible. Anything's possible if you put your mind to it.
Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So time, just the word time. Let's go deep for a second. Let's clear our.
I'm not prepared to go that deep yet. Give me 1 second. keep talking. Keep talking.
But so the word time itself, it intrigues me, and I'm excited about this episode. This is one of the things that, this is totally up my alley right here. But time itself, and I'm not looking at any kind of documented definition of it, but time is really a measure of your life, or the measure of the events around you, right? I mean, right. It's a measuring tool, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
created by man.
Yes, that's
by man.
Yes, that's where I was going next. So
that's a huge point.
Yes. So I kind of, I mean, I go to work, and I live my everyday life or whatever. I do that on the outside, but on the inside, it's I question all kind of shit. It's like, is time even real? It's time was real. It's like you said, it's made by man. So, is it possible that time itself doesn't exist and you can maneuver or manipulate your ways, in between a time period and a time period? I know you mentioned physically. I'm assuming that there's another way.
Yeah, there is. But going back to time real quick, I mean, time is a thing made up by man to judge days, hours, minutes. That's all man-made words and things, right?
But why? But that's.
But hold on a minute, though. Well, I mean, it takes 365 quote unquote days for the Earth to go around the sun, and it takes 24 hours for the Earth to make one complete rotation, and all that kind of shit. So.
Oh, you're one of those round earthers, huh?
Yeah, I am. I am one of those round earthers.
Okay.
But that's still a measurement of man. So if that one person never say, I'm going to stand here and count, because numbers and letters have been around before time, I'm assuming. So he's going to stand there and he's going to count and see how long it takes for the Earth to go around the sun. And he's going to stand there and count how long it takes for the Earth to make one complete rotation. So if that one man didn't have that idea, would time exist? The object of time, the idea of time. If that one man did not, the measurement of time. Yeah, if that one man didn't have that bright idea, would time exist?
Well, you think, let's go back to the beginning of man. Nobody had a time in which they had to go to work, or a time in which they would eat dinner or eat lunch or eat breakfast. I imagine it would just be a natural life cycle. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
let's.
Well,
So that kind of makes me think about, if you look at scripture, you know, a lot of people back in the biblical days, they lived 300 years, 400 years, 500 years. Is that because there was no measurement of time?
possibly that, or a better diet. They didn't eat
Ooh,
fried foods and
yeah,
processed shit all the time.
right. Just twigs
That
and
might have
berries.
just twigs and berries. But like the beginning of man, whenever you're talking about time and it existing, that man, that the human has to know when it's time to go hunt for food, when it's time to come back home, when it's time to sleep. So I think it's necessary. If not, would life be chaos without time, or would you just go on living and not even worry about it?
Well, I think the idea of time would be different back in those days. Like, I'm assuming that they would base time on the sun and the moon, and
Right.
because of course we all know that wildlife, they maneuver according to the sun and the moon, right?
Mm-hmm. That is correct, sir.
So yeah, so I guess time, see, this is so weird. This topic is so weird, and so time is necessary, or but not to the extent that it is now, right?
No, no, absolutely not. I don't think that it's necessary to the extent that it is now. I mean, I would be happy with a sundial.
Right. So
You
let
know
me
what I'm
ask you
saying?
this then, with all your research. So I know, in theory, scientifically, and in space or whatever, when you talk about time travel, so you have a piece of paper, and you have it flat on a table, and
Uh huh.
you make a black dot on the left side of this piece of paper, and you make a dot on the right side of this piece of paper, and that you can measure the distance between one dot to the other. And with our technology, we are not capable of making it from one dot to the other. But if you fold that piece of paper, that decreases the distance between the two of them, and it kind of puts them right on top of each other. So that's a form of time travel in a scientific aspect, right? I mean, out of all your research, did you?
Dots and paper. I don't think that's scientific. That's
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, so you're holding a piece of you hold a piece of damn paper with some damn dots on it. These dots are they're spread out. But if you fold the damn piece of paper, then they're right on top of each other, which would allow you to get from this time to that time.
yeah. But how does paycheck describe that scientifically though? Besides just folding a piece of paper and connecting two dots.
Well, black
When
hole
I done my when I done my
dimensions.
research, when I done my research, I just touched on key points. I didn't really go in depth and break down time travel and how it all works, which I probably should have, but I got interested in some other stuff about time travel and I just forgot to write that shit down. But um, I mean, I Red wants to time travel. Red would like to go back to a certain point in his life that really meant a lot to him, and he'd like to relive that moment again. So, how would Red go about doing that? Would I just hop in my DeLorean and go 88 miles an hour when the lightning strikes at 12, or do I get in some kind of other apparatus and it like sucks me into a black hole, into a streaming funnel of moments that I want to go back to, and I just put on the brakes when I'm at that special spot, or how does that work? You think?
Well, I mean, I guess it would depend on. You're talking about you want your physical being to travel into
Yes, I would like my meat suit to go to.
time.
I would like my meat suit to go to 1994. No specific date, just 1994.
Well, according to some of the research that I've done, you are absolutely correct. I believe there is a tangible object that will allow you to get from this time period to a different time period.
Now, is that the same? It's the same concept, and I'm still using TV shows and things that we're familiar with. And I just thought about this: Star Trek, beaming me up, Scotty. That's a particle. That's a particle breakdown and a reparticle generation into another spot. So that works the same way. So I'm sitting in this apparatus and I punch my little date in, and it breaks me down and sends me to 1994.
Yes, I don't think so. I mean, that's you're talking about breaking down human DNA and then reconstructing it.
Right.
I don't think that's feasible. I don't think that's logical. I think that's all movie shit. I'm not sure actually.
It's all movie shit.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure on to that.
All right, let's
what
take
you're
it.
talking about.
All right, let's take it to a whole nother level. Then let's not worry about the physical body anymore. Okay, because we obviously Paycheck and Red just can't grasp and physically work out how to physically time travel. So there is another way to time travel, and you can lay in your bed and not even leave the house. And that is the art or act of chronesthesia, which is mental time travel.
Now that I can talk about. That I believe in.
The mental ability under hypnosis, first by a fella by the name of Endel Toving in the 1980s. Recently, actually, not back in the 1800s, but the 1980s. And that's the ability to be aware of one's past or future.
Well, let me just say, I misspoke. I do believe in time travel, in regards to your physical being transported some way from one time period to another. I just think there's overwhelming evidence that would suggest that is possible. So people astral project. People, there are clairvoyant people in the world. People that just meditate hardcore about that kind of shit. Yeah, I mean, just real quick, just to go back just a little bit, I do believe it's possible for you to physically transport into another time period. I'm just not privy to the information that, I don't know that much about the scientific part of transporting a person from one time period to another. But I do believe it's possible. I just don't know about the technology.
Well, I mean, the black hole. I mean, whenever something gets sucked into a black hole, particles break down and disintegrates, evaporates, just poof, be gone. Like it sucks it up and makes it disappear. You know what I mean? But where does it go? Black holes are all over the galaxy, sucking up space junk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have a hard time with that part of it. That's just hard to believe. You're talking about a God theory, or not a God theory, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't believe that people can play God and break down, disintegrate, if you will, the human body, and then assemble it into, you know what I mean?
Then how do you physically believe in time travel then, if you don't believe that can happen?
I believe that there is a craft, if you will, that through some sort of electricity /
You're talking about a portal.
Well, yeah, I don't think the human body is disintegrated and then built or reassembled,
reconstructed.
Yeah, I don't believe in that part. But what I do believe is what you touched on is I do believe that a person can, if they're, I believe they can. Let's see. Dang, this is hard to put into words. Maybe I should have done a little bit more research.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody can put themselves in a mental state that would allow them to leave their body, and
That's mental time travel. That's what I was just getting ready to get started on there.
yeah,
That's mental time travel.
Yeah, I believe that, and not just, and I know you're going to touch on it because we talked about it before, but I believe that this physical shell that is sitting here right now is such a minor part of who we are. I believe what we are on the inside is the important part. I believe we are an energy, and I believe that is the part that can time travel.
Can we call it a meat suit?
Yeah, dude. When you first said meat suit, yeah, that was funny as hell.
Yeah, it's a meat suit. What who we really are is on the inside. It's exactly what it is. But the ability to time travel mentally is an endless possibility. I mean, there's so many ways to do it, and it's been proven. I know trying to think. I seen it last night when I was doing my research. I just didn't write it down because I was reading something and writing something else down. That's a talent that I have. The Army used remote viewing back in the 60s, I think it was, for war games. They used it to spy on the enemy.
What is that? Remote viewing?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's the ability to penetrate the illusion of time. Allows one to be able to experience time as a simultaneous event. In other words, you experience time, past, present, and future all at the same time. And you tap in to certain predetermined points in time, and you're not really necessarily there, but you are seeing there. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, you're seeing that point in time. You're not actually there. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, I got you.
So in your mind, you're seeing 1994 and that cool concert you want to relive again, but you're not really physically there. So that's remote viewing.
And how does one do
that? Just meditation and practice. There's a website that you can go to. It'll tell you how to do it. It's the power of thought and meditation.com. But it gives you, scenarios, of how to put yourself in that state. I don't necessarily think it's a natural born gift. I think anybody can do it. But it's something that takes years and years and years and years and years of practice to do.
I don't think you can do it because of the chemicals that you put in your body.
You talking about me specifically?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I understand what you're saying.
Well, I mean, if an individual wanted to dive into all this stuff that you're talking about, I'd imagine that their body would have to be almost at its purest form, like no chemicals in their body, no nicotine, no caffeine, no THC, you know what I mean? And plus the chemicals, that they put in the foods. I truly believe that you can do amazing, crazy shit with your body or mentally if you remove all outside interferences and be as natural, be in the most natural state as possible. No nicotine, no chemicals in your body, all the things that I just mentioned. Your body and your brain is in its purest form, healthy, not clouded with, chemicals and, toxins and all that shit. I believe so. If you can remove all that stuff, even fast, maybe, fast go like for a 24-hour fast. You do whatever is necessary naturally to remove all toxins and chemicals and outside influences, from your body. I believe that you can do amazing, crazy shit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but why would you pinpoint my chemicals in my body? You ingest caffeine every fucking morning.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so why are you pointing me out? Like I'm supposed to be over here just eating cheeseburgers and drinking Red Bull or something.
Well, because I'm sober at the moment. You know what I mean? I mean, well, I guess not.
Well, that don't give you the right to be judgmental towards me.
I wasn't. I was just. It's not possible.
I don't think you can do it, Red, because of all these chemicals that you ingest. You fat, robust bastard.
Listen,
anyway, anybody can. Anybody can. If you put your mind in the right state, anybody can do it.
Right. You put your mind and body. It depends on how you would want to do it, I guess. If you wanted to do it physically, time travel physically, like your physical being, I'm sure that everything would have to be in order. There's got to be a checklist of shit that you'd have to go through before this could happen. Wouldn't you think?
I would think so.
I mean, you couldn't be like, "Hey, yo, you want to go to 1984?" You know what I mean?
I mean, Marty McFly did it.
Yeah, but see, and that's
Austin Powers did it.
But see, this is what aggravates me about topics like this, and it's the whole government thing. Now, we're not going to get into the whole, conspiracy theory, government, and shit like that. But we have been force fed so much bullshit that topics like this are going to sound so crazy to so many people. And when I say force fed, I'm talking about movies like that. If you think about all the shit that you and I have talked about, in regards to this topic, how does Back to the Future sound after the conversations that we've had? Oh,
it's so asinine. It's the stupidest thing ever, but it sells.
Right. But you see what I'm saying, though? So
yeah.
It's not as easy as, a fucking clock tower and a lightning bolt. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But so what if time travel has existed? Now, and I'm talking about physical time travel has existed for a very, 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 very long time. And the reason I asked this is because I was watching some videos, just trying to do some research, and so I come across a couple of videos where there was actual evidence of time travel, like people that are photos that were taken in the 1940s that show somebody holding a phone.
Yeah, but are they? That's just the gesture of holding a phone. I don't necessarily think. I mean, that's just all interpretation. That person could be just scratching their temple and looks like they're on the phone.
No.
You know
This was well, you're right, but this actually looked like not the flip phones. I'm talking about a smartphone. You know how it has the camera on the back of the phone, and they're holding it up like you would take a photo or something like that. You know what I mean?
Are you referring to the Mike Tyson fight?
That's one of them, yeah, but that's one of so many. So that goes back to the whole thing that we've discussed in previous episodes, where at some point the overwhelming evidence has to suggest that there's some sort of truth to all these things that we've been talking about over the past couple of episodes.
Yeah, I mean the way I look at it is technology that the government has came up with has gone so far in the last century. I mean, my opinion, because I know you don't believe in it, but if the government can put a human being on the moon, then I believe that the government has ways to time travel. If the government can send a signal to a satellite and connect with another satellite and allow us to make phone calls, because it was electricity and sound waves to begin with, and now we use satellites to do that. And if man can create something that will send a invisible signal to a satellite, link it to another satellite, and create phone calls, then there's no reason why they don't have time travel.
And if
because
the
time
government,
travel is way simpler, if you think about it, than sending a signal to a satellite and making a phone call. In my opinion.
Well, let me say it this way then. So, if the government is capable of manipulating you enough to think that we went to the moon and that we have all these satellites, you know, on the outside of our atmosphere, then they can also persuade you into thinking that time travel is just movie shit. All these different, you know, multiple dimensions are just movie shit, and it's all not real. And that's why the social, shit, I lost the word. That's why you're looked at as crazy when you start talking about stuff like this. This is what the government wants you that they want you to feel crazy or to be chastised and you know what I mean, made fun of for thinking outside the box like we're doing now.
Yeah, but I believe that we put a man on the moon. They wrote a song.
I do not.
They wrote a song about it.
Yeah, but I do not. The song doesn't make it real.
I know it doesn't. But technology makes it real, though, man. You don't think that the government has the capabilities to put a human being on the moon?
No.
All right, so you tell me, how did the government put satellites in orbit to make those cell phone calls? How did that happen?
I think that they are in
space. Were they put in this huge slingshot and just go pew and be shot into the sky? No.
No, wait. I don't. No, they have not left our atmosphere. That's why there are so many satellites. If they could leave the atmosphere, if they could put a satellite on the, you know, through our atmosphere, then we wouldn't require all these satellites. We there has to be, okay.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, I'm fixing to explain it to you. So, true or false?
Well, hold on a minute before you say that. I have to say something.
Yes, I'm chewing in your ear. It's another Twix.
Stop with the fucking Twix in my ear. Jesus.
Listen, true or false?
Okay, go shoot. True or false?
Are there thousands of satellites up in space?
Sure. Yeah. You can't run all these cell phones on one satellite.
Okay. So, if we were able to leave the atmosphere, the satellite would be able to go higher and cover they cover more of the Earth. True or false?
That's not how satellites work, dude.
Okay, yeah, but listen to me. Just hear me out for a second. Just answer some questions for me. Just direct yes or no or whatever. So,
all right, ask that question again.
Okay, so no. Let's just take. Okay, so if I put a satellite 300 miles into space,
okay,
will that satellite be able to cover the whole Earth?
No.
Okay, so
there's
great.
There's not a super satellite.
Okay, wait. Okay, so if I take that same satellite and I put it 50,000 miles into space, would it be able to see more of the Earth?
To a certain point, because they only reach so far.
Right.
The signal is only strong enough to reach so far.
Okay, so my point is that if we were able to leave the atmosphere and put these satellites, you know, beyond our atmosphere, then we wouldn't require thousands and thousands and thousands of satellites. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of satellites because we can't leave the atmosphere. So one satellite is only going to be able to cover a small amount of the Earth because it's so close to the Earth. So they would need additional satellites to cover
Because
more of the
that's
Earth.
that's how satellites work.
What? What do you mean how satellites work? Well, I don't know.
They're
Wait.
made for low orbit and moderate signal. Satellites work on a grid system. You
Okay,
realize
so
that, right?
yes, the satellites they haven't left our atmosphere, correct?
I'm sure there's a few that have, yeah.
Well, I thought you said they didn't work like that.
Cell phone satellites are a different level than a government issue satellite would be.
No, dude, you're
They
so
cover bigger. They cover bigger. They cover more ground.
no, dude.
But
What?
cell phone.
Listen, no,
Listen. Yes.
listen to me for a second, dude. There's fucking cell phone towers. So what the fuck are you talking about? Cell phones and satellites?
Where the fuck do you think the satellites get the signal from, genius? They're not generating their own cell phone signal. Come on, dude. You got to tell me you know this. You know how cell phone signals work, right?
Wait.
Come on, dude.
So you're telling me that in order for my cell phone to work, it requires that big ass antenna and a satellite?
Yes.
No.
Yes, that's how satellites work, dude.
No.
You think that cell phone tower in your backyard is generating its own cell phone signal?
Well, then why does my cell phone jump from tower to tower?
Because it picks up different. I just told you that satellites are in orbit on a grid system.
In orbit, right?
In orbit, yes, on a grid system. So whenever you travel out of that particular satellite's grid, you pick up another satellite, which in turn picks up another signal from another tower.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: if there are so many damn satellites,
what?
And if there are so many satellites,
right.
and they have to be so close to the Earth, to be able to ping off of these towers and shit. Why have I never in my whole 42 years seen a damn satellite in space?
Because you can't see that far. The naked eye don't see them floating around in space from the ground.
Okay, well, I have a pretty badass telescope. Okay, I lied. I don't have one. My dad has one. So I have looked at the moon a lot, and not just look at it, but I can. But listen, but you know where I'm going with this. So I can magnify the shit out of it, and yet I see no satellite crossing in between my telescope and the moon. Why? If there's thousands
because your satellite, your telescope isn't strong enough to break down the details of it and see a fucking actual satellite floating through fucking space. It shows up to you as a star. I do. Whenever I used to live in South Carolina, I lived out in the country, okay, where there were no street lights and no noise or light pollution, okay, and I could see stars for miles, and I knew exactly where to look. Because I would get online and look and see, me and my dad would do this, and look and see where the International Space Station was in reference to where I was. And at certain times listen to me, dude, and at certain times of the year, you can see the International Space Station as a star. Listen to me. You're not listening to what I'm telling you. You listen to me. I'm not a physical fucking satellite floating across the sky. It shows up to the naked eye as a star. It looks like a star. You're not seeing some big fucking gigantic machine looking thing just tumbling, floating through fucking space with the naked eye. It shows up to the naked eye as stars.
No, I didn't say the naked eye. I said through my telescope.
Dude, do you realize how high these fucking satellites are?
Okay, well, let me ask you this. You mentioned the International Space.
Jeez. This
whatever,
is third
right?
grade science shit, man.
No, you listen to this because you're not awoke yet.
Oh yeah. I just broke down this elaborate thing to you today about being enlightened and awoke, and you still tell me that I'm not awoke yet. You have got to know how cell phone satellites and towers work, dude.
Yeah, but listen, it's not how you think it works. Hear me out for just a second.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This time travel, mental time travel thing has turned into a cell phone satellite tower debate.
No, it's turned into a school read.
Ain't a school read. I know how cell phone towers and satellites work. Evidently, Paycheck doesn't.
Because the government told you how it works. So let me ask you this. You can go onto the internet.
Of course, the government told me how it works.
Yeah, listen, you can go onto the internet.
Jesus Christ.
Listen.
I'm listening.
You can go onto the internet and you can pull up the International Space Station camera, correct?
You sure can.
Okay. Do you think that they see satellites?
I don't know.
Do you think the International Space Station?
I'm not an astronaut.
Okay, but wait a minute. But true or false? The International Space Station, according to the government, takes continuous video of the Earth, correct?
Sure. Yeah.
And captures photos, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yet, out of all that footage and out of all those photos, we don't see one satellite.
Dude,
I rest my case, Your Honor. I rest my case.
Listen to me. No. You gotta let me put my thoughts together. You don't give me time enough to answer before you're already. I win. Look at me.
Because I'm woke. I already won.
No, dude. That fucking camera isn't gonna pan every fucking square inch of space at one point in time.
If the Earth is rotating and the satellites are in our orbit, they are rotating with the planet. So at some point, you should see at least one fucking satellite, bro.
Do you realize how fast that shit is traveling? Do you realize how fast that shit? We ain't talking about 60 miles an hour in the slow lane, dog. We talking about hundreds of thousands of miles an hour. I mean, what are you expecting? Like your Nikon from the ground to click and catch a fucking satellite flying through the fucking air or something?
No, but I do expect the international. I do expect the International Space Station to be able to take a photo. I mean, you're telling me that you're taking a photo of the Earth, but you can't take a photo of a fucking satellite?
Dude, they have photos of satellites.
Yeah, that NASA gave you, right? That the government gave you, right?
Oh, Lord, have mercy on my soul. Listen, dude,
let's get back to the time travel, because you're ignorant.
Yeah. Well, okay, you're ignorant also. Let's just agree to disagree. You don't even know how cell phone towers work. I mean, can you even tie your fucking shoes by yourself?
No, I got Crocs.
I just picked me up a nice set of Crocs on vacation this week. They're pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was just kidding. I do not wear Crocs. Those are for.
I wear Crocs.
Oh, I know that's for your.
Those are for unawoke, fat, robust motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's it. With fanny packs. Do you have a fanny pack or not?
Dude, I wore my fanny pack all week.
Yes. Okay, so wait a minute. So just so I can let's build this image up for our listeners. So Crocs. Fanny pack, right? Vape.
Yep.
You got your little vape mod.
Damn right.
Yep. Oh man, that's red, y'all. That's red right there.
I'm on vacation. I don't know these people. I don't give a shit what I look like.
So at no other point do you wear the fanny pack ever?
Yes, I wear the fanny pack when I'm at an outing and I need more pockets. Or I need
wait a minute.
I need to just put some shit in a little area in my crotchal region. Yeah, I carry a fucking fanny pack.
Okay, wait a minute.
Almost everywhere I go.
Okay, so wait a minute. So I remember in some episode, I don't remember which one it was.
Fanny pack time traveling, everybody.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Now I'm intrigued because we had an episode in which you talked about cargo shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're telling me, so you're telling me that out of all those pockets that are on that cargo short, you still require additional cargo space?
Yeah, I carry around a lot of shit, man. I carry around a lot of shit.
Yeah, so it's I had this very same conversation with my oldest daughter about why she should start carrying a purse. Oh man, you tripped me out.
Well,
Anyway,
see,
back.
Here's the thing, though, real quick. Here's the thing. I acquired this fanny pack in Rochester, New York, by a really good friend of mine and yours by the name of Dan Ross, and it represents his beard club.
Yep, I get it. Good dude. What's up,
Dan?
Dan?
I just think it's a neat thing. It's a novelty idea. It's a conversation starter. Do you know how many people complimented me on my fanny pack this week? Just wearing it. People are like, "Oh, you got a fanny pack on? That's cool. What does it say?" And they'll read it and they'll want an explanation on why it says Boomtown Brothers on it.
But do you know what they said when they walked away from you?
Gay.
Yeah, they're like, look at this motherfucker here.
Dude, I really
socks.
don't care. And that same episode, if people will go back and listen, and you can remember me saying, I don't give a shit what people think I look like. I don't care. I'm comfortable and I'm having a good time. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but what if you traveled into time traveled into 2072?
Okay.
And they asked you, holy shit, dude, you've got like 15 pockets on your shorts, and you got this thing wrapped around your waist for additional storage.
Do people of your time really have to carry that much shit in their pockets?
Yeah, I mean, dude, okay, so you got a wallet, cigarettes and a lighter if you smoke, your phone, your keys.
Man, I've carried everything from airplane liquor bottles to vape mods to marijuana paraphernalia to cigarettes and a lighter when I smoked.
No, but all at once? Where the fuck are you going?
Why would I carry?
What are you, a nomad?
Dude, look here. Okay, take a beard competition for instance, okay? And I'm hanging out with my boys, and we're sneaking liquor in the venue and shit because we don't want to pay high-priced liquor prices. I'm sneaking a few airplane bottles in my fanny pack. That way it's easily accessible. I don't have to keep digging in all this cargo shit, and I've got 20 million things in each pocket. I look like I'm coaching first base looking for shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but have you ever been to a beard competition where you've had to walk 10 miles to your vehicle?
No, but instead of walking to my vehicle, I can just go fumble in my fanny pack for a second and go, pow, there it is, an airplane bottle. Get
all right,
drunk,
you remember
raise hell, have fun.
You remember the beard competition I met you at?
Yes, I do.
Where were we hanging out at, mostly?
Well, it started off in the venue, then it wound up in the parking lot.
There you go. So I managed to carry marijuana paraphernalia, cigarettes, lighter, cell phone, car keys. I had a pretty long beard at the time, so a little ponytail holder deal from a beard. And I didn't even have to carry all that shit. I had 4 pockets. No fanny pack, no Crocs. And the whole Crocs thing. Do you wear socks with them?
Yes and no.
White ones?
No.
What color?
Black.
And what color are your Crocs?
Matte black and gray.
Well, that ain't too bad, I guess.
I accessorize, motherfucker. I match.
Yeah. All right, so let's save that for another episode. We can go on all day with that. So let's get back to
ends the fanny pack segment.
Yeah, so let's get back to the topic at hand here, which is time travel. So just the name itself, time travel.
Yep.
So you are traveling.
Uh-huh.
Which means you are mobile.
Yep.
Through time.
Mm-hmm.
If time exists. So let's take away the word time, because
okay.
let's say time doesn't exist.
Okay.
You're a traveler.
Yep.
Okay, so that's kind of what we do on a daily basis is we travel. So who's to say that it's not 2020? You know, like when you're riding down Highway 95 or 75 or 10 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Who's to say what year we started in and what year we ended up in, or what time we started and what time we ended up in. So when we talk about time travel, that's insinuating that there's a measure of time. When we talked about it earlier, that there's really not a measure of time.
There is a measure of time. There is a physical measure of time. Yes.
Made by man.
Right. Yeah. But there is a measure of time. So when they say time traveling, they're just using that label to name it. When what you're saying is we're really just traveling, just passers-by.
Yeah, I don't believe that there's any such thing as time. I mean, I know there is according to society and you know, the lives that we live or whatever.
Right.
But in reality,
the illusion of time.
Right. Yeah. So and not to get into the whole government thing again, but
here we go again.
Yeah, dude. There's a reason for this shit, man. There's a reason that they've put a limit on our daily lives. They have beaten your head. No, we're gonna go way out to the left. I don't want to go there. We'll save that for another episode. So time travel. So Red and I were talking about: is it possible for Red and I were talking about this previously? Is it possible for two people who live in two separate locations, geographically speaking, in time travel, either physically or, I guess, spiritually, energetically, at the same time? Like could Red be over at his house and go through a meditative state, and I'm at my house, go through this meditative state, and end up in the same place?
Yeah, that goes back to the mental time travel. That's called etheric projection. I know you've heard of astral projection, which is an out-of-body experience. Well, they have etheric projection, which is interpreting the physical body, allowing you to experience physical earthly existence. So instead of your soul or your energy leaving your body and having that quote unquote out of body experience, your energy is experiencing the earthly existence. So it's not really a time travel or a astral projection, it's just realization. And that's realizing you are here, I am there. And if we can, and this is a perfect segue, if we can get our human sound frequency to merge together and run on one frequency, and we collide those two frequencies together, then me and you and whoever else decides to do this can exist at the same time, at the same exact moment.
Elsewhere.
You're elsewhere, yes. Yes.
Yeah, see, this shit is, this is where it gets crazy and interesting all at once.
The body has a natural vibration.
The frequency.
Natural vibration, the frequency of the body. Albert Einstein.
But wait a minute. Wait a motherfucking
See, dude,
minute.
Why do you always fucking do that?
Because I don't want to lose it. It has to do with what you're talking about. I can't help
you don't have a short-term memory, Dory.
Who the hell's Dory?
You never seen Finding Nemo?
No, dude. I'm fucking 40 years old.
But you have kids, 40s. Motherfucker. You have a
they watch daughter. It. Yeah, they watch it. They watch it.
Anyway. Albert Einstein. E equals MC squared guy. I see you got me all flustered. I can't even fucking talk. Albert Einstein said that everything is vibration. Everything that exists, materialistic or otherwise, has a vibration.
Yes.
Your natural body, your meat suit, if you will, runs on 432 hertz. That frequency, 432 hertz.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you're missing a digit there.
The Earth beats at 8 hertz. The beat of the No, 8. One more after 7, one less than 9. 8. 8 hertz.
All right, let me count them out real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, your body resonates somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 250 hertz. Your body naturally heals itself, and your body runs naturally. Your energy runs at 432 hertz. And
Okay,
in order for your mind and your body to coexist in another point in time, your vibrations and your frequencies have to align with everything around it. That's why your meat suit is where it's at right now, because your body resonates with everything around it. It's almost like sonar. Your fish finder in your boat, and it sends a little boom, boom, and it shows you a picture, a sonar picture of the things below it. It's the same concept. Your body is resonating off of everything around you, making it, not making it exist, but showing it to you. Blind people do it. Bats do it. They tick so they can see. It's the same thing. So if your mind and your body and my mind and my body can resonate on the same frequency at the same exact moment in time, then we can be anywhere we want to be.
Okay, so when you say that, so I'm assuming that you and I would have different frequencies then. Okay, so is that almost like a fingerprint? Like I wonder
Well,
if
you have to take into account, and you spoke on it earlier. You have to take into account the chemicals that you put in your body that slows that vibration and that electric signal down.
Also,
you see what I'm saying? So
yeah. Also,
excuse me. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I wasn't done talking. There was not a period there, motherfucker.
Yeah, but this is a conversation. This is conversation.
Right, but I have to finish my thought.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
No, go ahead. You already fucked me up. Now, go ahead.
So I'm assuming that this is an example. A good example would be the whole sand on a speaker on a subwoofer, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes,
depending on the frequency that is being played through that speaker, it would create different what's the word crap.
Think of it like this. While you're thinking about that, think of it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Sand on a speaker, vibrations. Pretend that the earth is a speaker, and pretend that time is the sand, or the illusion of time is the sand, and the vibrating platform that sand is resting on is you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like but like East Coast sand or West Coast sand?
Oh, we're talking about like hourglass, really fine ground up sand.
Now, do I have sunscreen on it at this point, or?
You can, because it's really hot outside. I would definitely put sunscreen on.
Okay, so that would lead me to think that an outside influence could hinder your frequency. So what I mean is, I'm assuming that the government or our armed forces could use vibrations and frequencies and hertz as a weapon.
Yes.
Okay, so and just stay with me here. I'm going somewhere with this. So is it safe to say that we don't know as human beings, we don't know what we are actually capable of, because we are being filtered, if you will, or stifled or muzzled through frequencies and the music we listen to, the TV programs that we watch, mean, you see what I'm saying?
Dude, think about it like this. If you hear a song, I'm not going to name any song because there are influences, but you hear a song and it resonates with you. The music is just there. You love it. It soothes your soul. It's the best song you ever heard. Chances are that song, the vibrations of that song resonate close to what your body does. That's why it feels good to you, and you love that tone, that resonance. I mean, people get off on, you know, the lyrics to a song or, you know, the melody or something like that. But if you really love, and I'm not talking about Freebird or some bullshit like that, but I'm talking just a random song. Oh my God.
No,
You
don't
know
you
what
ever
I mean. You know what
disrespect that song again. Ever.
Anyway, but you hear music and certain kinds of music that just resonates with your inner self. You feel it, if you will. People say, I feel that, man. I feel the hell out of that.
Yeah, I feel music.
Yeah. And I believe that music, that particular score of music, is resonating at the same frequency that your body is. That's why your body accepts it. And it feels good.
Well, let me say this one word, and you tell me what your thoughts are on this one word.
Okay.
And I hope this is the right word. And I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be the right word, but maybe you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Well, I won't even say the word. I'll just tell you. So, you ever have that? Well, I think it's tinnitus.
You just built that up and just ruined the whole thing.
Well, I mean, but I don't think it's the right word. Tinnitus or something like that, where you hear that constant ringing in your ear.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that's like where's that coming from? That's a frequency. That's a tone. You know what I mean? So where's that come from?
Your inner eardrum. It's the irritation of the hairs in your ears. They're irritated.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be some government stuff.
No.
Oh, that's fucking boring.
Right? You just see that. But see, that's where I said that the whole thing about the music and all that to say this. There are good frequencies and there are bad frequencies. You hear that song you don't really like. Chances are it's not resonating at the same frequency that your body is. That's why certain people like certain kinds of music. Not only just for the lyrics and the woo Freebird, not only just for that, but because your body accepts the resonance that it's vibrating at.
Do you think that's why some people get along with some people and while others don't?
Yes, I believe that's exactly the reason. That is exactly the reason.
Do you think the vibrations and the frequencies and all that have anything to do with time travel?
I just said that. It's etheric projection. It's a version of astral projection. If two people can resonate on the same frequency at the same exact moment in time, then they can be anywhere they want to be. In theory. I just explained all this. Where were you?
Yeah, drinking. All right, so we got to wrap this up, man. This is one of those nights where I got to get up. I got to get up early in the morning. But so can we continue this in this direction? It doesn't necessarily have to be this same topic, but I'm really digging this.
Absolutely.
Okay, so more to come on this topic.
We're
gonna stay. Yeah, we'll do a part 2 of. But I'd like to broaden the topic just a little bit. You cool with that?
Yeah, man.
All right, we'll talk about it, a little bit more off air or whatever. Wait, no, we're not on air right now. This is
this is pre-recorded. Yeah, it's pre-recorded.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, we'll talk about that. So stay tuned. I hope we didn't get off track too much. As you could tell, we're kind of crazy. We like to cut up, make fun of each other. We like to have a good time. Sometimes we get carried away.
This is our first podcast back from vacations and all that, so we got to get back in the groove.
Yeah, and I've got to do more research because just Red doing his own research. I find it very hard to have a rebuttal and I think that's necessary because I think he's full of shit sometimes.
All right. Well, see, I get my information from the same place you get yours, and that is why you do the research, friend, and I'm the guy that shoots from the hip and just rebuts because I'm that fucking clever. I don't have to have research.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like two peas in a pod.
Yep. So real quick, just a little shout out and a little thank you to all the listeners. We're continuing to grow. The numbers are showing it. We're growing in every aspect. You tell them you know a little bit more about it, but the Anchor podcast is just fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. We're I know we just announced an episode or two ago that we reached 500 downloads, 500 listens, and since that time, not even 2 weeks ago, we're right at 800 and climbing. So I mean, we're doing really good, all because you guys are listening and giving us a chance, I guess you could call it. I mean, we have a huge response on Instagram, which is super cool. I'm not real proud of Facebook, but Facebook is Facebook with algorithms and all that shit. But YouTube is actually getting a pretty decent response as well, surprisingly.
Slowly but surely, but a special shout out to all the other podcasters out there that continue to show us love. We're fairly new to the whole podcast community, and we feel like y'all have kind of welcomed us with open arms, so we appreciate it. So stay tuned, and just to let y'all know, we do listen to y'all shit too. So yeah, we just want to take a minute to say thank you, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
So is that it?
So, on that note, y'all look us up on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Paycheck and Red. YouTube, YouTube. If you don't have any of these podcast listening platforms, or if you just like YouTube better, we upload our episodes on YouTube also.
And if you don't mind, if you have a minute, please participate, in all these social media platforms and YouTubes. Give a like, give a rating or whatever it is that, that platform will allow you to do. Mm-hmm. It helps us out, lets us know, how we're doing. If you have any input or any words of advice or any topics that you'd like to hear or, anything, just, communicate with us and we're going to keep it moving.
Yeah, I mean, we started doing this just real quick. We started doing this just because we talk every day anyway. We just decided to record it.
Because it's funny. Some of our conversations are funny as shit.
Yeah. But given the response that we've gotten over the last couple months, we do it not only for ourselves, but we do it because you guys want to listen to it, obviously. So, the comments, the likes, the shares, the reviews, all that's appreciated. It helps us keep the momentum going. You know what I'm saying? The morale, if you will.
And now that Red's back from vacation, we can start knocking these. We can start up more episodes.
Thanks. Oh, and I almost forgot that we have T-shirts.
Ooh, we do, and we did pick a random winner. We're not going to share that quite yet, but we did pick a winner for right? Didn't we have weren't we giving one away?
We were giving a couple away.
Yeah. All right, so stay tuned within the next episode maybe.
Yeah,
and,
that sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay, and so stay tuned. We'll be giving away some T-shirts.
Yep, look us up on all the social medias, guys.
Yep, and that's it. See ya.
Later.